won their conference, and now he's trying to turn things around at Alabama A&M. Arkansas won the coin toss and elected to receive. They want the football. They want to get this offense on the field. Offense going to be a little bit ahead of this Arkansas defense. So many new pieces on that side of the football. So we are just underway for the first time in 2025 here in Fayetteville. Rodney Hill on this return. He's to the 20. And he is walloped at the 27-yard line, so that is where this Arkansas offense will set up shop. This is an Arkansas offense that averaged 31 points per game last year. They had 460 yards of total offense. That's top 10 in the country. And if they can improve on that, boy, there'll be some big things in store here in Fayetteville.
Absolutely, and that starts with that man right there, Taylon Green. 422 total yards and 3 touchdowns, responsible for last time he played football in December.
6'6", 235, the fifth-year senior in his second season here at Arkansas after transferring in from Boise State. First snap of the game underneath, pass caught there by Omega Blake, and that'll be a first down. He breaks a tackle, he's to the 40, couple extra yards at the end of that one. Omega out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. He transferred in from Charlotte.
Big play threat. They wanted to get speed and size on the edge, and that's what Omega Blake brings you. Over 24 yards per catch, and you see his yak ability after that catch right there.
Out of that pistol formation, Mike Washington Jr., your tailback. Well, they said that he was just explosive in their summer scrimmages. Cuts it back over the 45 to the 46. Jalen Wright, that linebacker out of Birmingham, Alabama, making the tackle, but a gain of 6. You talked about his size, 6'2", 228. But man, we walked in that room, you had to take a double take. Like, is that him? Is that who we're?
I wanted to make sure he was the running back, because I was like, whenever I played running back, I didn't look anything like that. So he's a specimen and well put together.
Started his career at Buffalo, then went to New Mexico State last year. On second down, they'll fake it to Washington. Green rolls to his right. Pass is caught. Collision at the Alabama A&M 44-yard line. There's Jalen Brown, brought down by Jeremiah Hudson Davis. A gain of 10 and a first down for Arkansas.
Yeah, watch the ball fake by Green. He hides it from the defense so they can't see what's happening. And that goes to show you the type of confidence that he's playing with and the familiarity underneath Bobby Petrino's offense in year 2.
Just a straight handoff off the right side. Washington Jr. hit by Biambi, the 5th-year senior. Linebacker out of Coral Gables, Florida, gain of 5. Well, this is a Arkansas team that offensively has plenty of weapons. Talking to Bobby Petrino yesterday, he felt really good about his receiving core. Actually loves his tight end room. He's got a couple of guys over there he thinks are going to be exceptional, including the transfer Jaden Platt from Texas A&M. He'll go with Washington again on the ground. He is close to the line to gain. Nick Glenn, the first one there for the Bulldogs. Sam Pittman, boy, I tell you what, it was a tough season last year. Had some games they felt like they should have won. I mean, there were 3 or 4 games in the final few minutes they just couldn't hold on to. Could have been a different season. It is what it is, right? As he says, 7-6, they win the bowl game. But certainly expectations here are they're going to need to win this season. What that number is, to be determined. Taylon Green tucks it and runs. First down to the 22-yard line and out of bounds. Caleb Brown pushes him out of bounds, but that'll be an Arkansas first down after an 11-yard pickup.
And this is where he's such a dynamic ball player. He looks downfield, checks his first read, second read, nothing's there. That internal clock goes off. He tucks the ball, and then his athleticism takes over, picks up an easy first down for this Arkansas Razorback offense.
Green last year rushed for over 600 yards. Braylon Russell turns the corner, the sophomore tailback. He's hit inside the 20, down to the 17 by Robert Iverson. pick up a 4 yards there. But this is a good running back room. Mike Washington Jr., Braylon Russell, Rodney Hill, 3 guys that can all compete at the highest level.
We remember Braylon Russell for his burst on the scene, 175 yards against Mississippi State on the ground. Having that as a 1-2 punch with Mike Washington is always a good duo in your backfield.
Going to go empty here on 2nd down. Underneath route caught there by Raylan Sharp out of the slot. He bounces around like a pinball. They'll spot his progress down to the 16-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and about 4.5 coming up here for Arkansas.
I know Arkansas is moving the ball very well, but I do want to point out Alabama A&M is hitting with physicality.
Yes.
They were playing hard and physical.
Again, empty set, 3 receivers to the wide side, 2 to the near side. Green underneath, pass caught there. C.J. Brown breaks a tackle into the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas. 16-yard strike. And the Hogs on the board first.
Dave, that's what you have to do. You get one-on-one matchups. You see the speed of C.J. Brown, but then he breaks the tackle of Jeremiah Hudson-Davis, and then everything else is history after that. The first touchdown for this Arkansas team in 2025.
Boy, a fantastic drive. 9 plays, 73 yards. Point after up and good from Scott Starzit, the highly recruited freshman kid. And he'll let that one bounce a few yards deep, and Alabama A&M will get it out at the 25-yard line, and they'll go with Cornelius Brown IV, the man they call Quad. He has been around college football for a long time. His 7th season in the college game.
7 years, 3rd time coming back as the starter for this offense. He is extremely familiar with what they want to do and the personnel that they have. He's excited to play ball against somebody other than himself. He gets that opportunity today against this Razorback defense.
3rd consecutive opening day start for Cornelius, and it's the 3rd consecutive opening game start against an SEC team. Auburn last year, Vanderbilt a couple of years ago. And here's this new look Arkansas defense. Other than really the linebackers, Xavier Sorey and Steven Dix Jr., you got Cam Ball up front, but other than that, man, it's just new. This pass caught around the 43-yard line by Jordan Chambers-Smith, the true freshman, picks up 18 on their opening play.
Yeah, and they're very high on Jordan Chambers-Smith. Watch the play action. You get so used to defending the run, and then you get 1st down play action. Big open hole for Quad Brown.
Flag down. They're going to stop this play. False start against the Bulldogs.
False start. Offense. Not all 11 players were set before the snap. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
This Alabama A&M team expected to finish 4th in the SWAC East Division. After going 500 a year ago, Frank Pierre with that catch near midfield out to the 49-yard line. That's another gain of 11. It'll be about 4 yards shy of the line to gain. It'll be 2nd down coming up for Alabama A&M. Sam Shade basically took his coaching staff from Miles College. Dennis Alexander was the OC at Miles last year. OC and offensive line coach this year for Alabama A&M. That's a 1st down for the Bulldogs. They get it inside the 45. They'll spot them at the 44-yard line. Quincy Rhodes Jr. making the stop. There is Sam Shade. 10-3 last year at Miles. They went 8-0 in their conference. D2 playoffs, 1st round win. Got beat in the 2nd round by, at the time, top-ranked Valdosta State. On 1st down, little play action. Wide open. Tied in, Travante Abner. He is inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line. Boy, Brown just very calm in that pocket, waiting for things to develop.
Yeah, they're giving Arkansas's defense different looks to play action yet again. You got that stack alignment by the receivers and the tight end, and Abner comes free. It's another big game right now. Great first start.
After a pickup of 26, another false start against Alabama A&M. And
False start. Offense. Not all 11 players were set before the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Cornelius Bennett was over there. Cornelius Brown was over there chirping at one of his wide receivers. I think that might have been maybe on Walker over there. Unhappy that he didn't get set in time.
And it's the second penalty that they have caused on their own from a pre-snap perspective. That's what coaches are always looking for in week one when you haven't played a game in a long time, is making sure you handle everything that you can control before the ball is snapped.
First down and 15. Quick slant pass caught there by Jordan Chambers-Smith. He's inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line. They'll pick up 13, maybe 14. Julian Neal, the transfer from Fresno State, back there in coverage.
Now you get this close to the red zone, you got to be more aggressive on that defensive alignment. Just too soft in coverage. Easy pitch and catch for Quad Brown.
Well, Alabama A&M has responded in a big way. Handed off right side. They'll go with Maurice Edwards, the 4th. His forward progress down to about the 6, and that'll be good enough for another Bulldog first down.
Stringing together the types of plays that we've seen Coach Alexander do. He's kept it very balanced, right? Showing run, showing pass, and then using the play action to his advantage. Trying to keep this Razorback defense on their heels as much as possible.
4 first downs on this drive for Alabama A&M. Out of that pistol formation, handed off right side. Hole over there. There goes Maurice Edwards, the 4th. Did he get in? Yes, he did, from 6 yards out. And Alabama A&M just marched it down the field.
You want to talk about an impressive answer. We saw Arkansas do what Alabama A&M just did. Alabama A&M say we need to respond, and with missed tackles, guys at the point of attack not being able to stop Maurice Edwards, the 4th, it results in a touchdown for Alabama A&M. What an impressive drive there, and then the fight and the will to get across the line of scrimmage, knowing you're going to get hit.
How about 7 plays and 75 yards? They got backed up on 2 false start penalties. Overcame those. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't face a 3rd down that entire drive. Point after, up and good. And just like that, we are tied because of 80's close losses that you had. And you finished 7-6, and there were moments where you were like, this team's really good. And there were moments you were like, what's going on? You couldn't figure them out.
And they have to show more consistency in 2025 if they expect better results.
Well, they'll need to clean it up on the defensive end after that opening drive by the Bulldogs resulted in a touchdown. Here's the return from Rodney Hill, and he's out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. So their first offensive possession, though, was very good. What'd you like about what you saw from that first run down the field for the Hawks?
Yeah, originally we talked about the new faces on this offense. With 4 new starting receivers, Taylon Green was able to get them involved, and there were 4 different pass catchers on that drive that received the catch, and then obviously capped off by the C.J. Brown touchdown. That's what you want to see. Get familiarity, get it on the first drive, first game, and then continue to build off of that.
Green was 4 of 4, 41 yards in that opening possession. He's got time to throw, waits for a man to get open, and Omega Blake is that man. Omega into Alabama A&M territory down to the 40-yard line. Omega Blake already making a name for himself, the Rock Hill, South Carolina native out of Charlotte.
Yeah, and again, you see them caught man-to-man coverage. Right now, it's not ideal for Alabama A&M, especially you going up against number 9, Mr. Omega Blake. Another dot by Taylon Green, right on the money, protects his receiver, and then Omega Blake gets those yards after the catch.
Blake was 2nd in the country last year, averaging over 24 yards per catch. Here's a little toss sweep. Mike Washington Jr. almost broke it. Tripped up inside that SEC logo. Falls forward to the 21.
And Robert Iverson is saying, thank you, Lord. Toss sweep right there. You get two blockers in front of you guys that can move. He breaks one tackle and just can't get his feet right underneath himself. That's one play he wishes he could have back, but he'll have an opportunity, obviously, to make more plays just like that.
Washington stays in the game to the right of Taylon Green. First down and 10 from the 21. Green lofts it up in the air toward the end zone, and this one just off the fingertips of C.J. Brown. Lynn Petway back there in coverage for the Bulldogs.
Again, this is another man-on-man opportunity for Arkansas to take advantage of. I thought this was a beautiful ball by Taylon Green. Might just be a little outside and too far for C.J. Brown, but that's the look and the shot that you want at this area downfield, especially with a one-on-one matchup in the slot position.
Green keeps it. Alabama A&M all over the mesh point there. Kylan Roberts, the first man on the spot for the Bulldogs, a loss of 4.
Yeah, Kylan Roberts was a monster on this play. You're going to see him here get ready to play both the running back and the quarterback. He's not fooled by any means, and it results in a big loss for Alabama A&M's defense.
First time they've gone backwards. And they'll bring up a 3rd down and 14 now. And a timeout taken by Alabama A&M. Defensive coordinator Chris Schelling, who played at Auburn back in the mid-90s, also a 5-year NFL veteran, trying to get his defensive group lined up. Do not forget our stellar Week 1 football lineup continues tonight at 7:45 Eastern Time right here on the SEC Network. And, of course, you can always catch it on the ESPN app. Number 21, Ole Miss, hosting Georgia State. Chance to see Austin Simmons get to run the show at quarterback for Ole Miss. He is an exceptional-looking athlete, strong arm. He looks like he could be the guy. It's just, once again, there's 5 or 6 of these in this league that you just kind of are waiting to see what it looks like, but indications are he could be really, really good.
Absolutely, and if he's really good, I'm sure Lane Kiffin will be smiling from ear to ear, grinning with what he has in his quarterback this season.
Speaking of quarterbacks, this one has been a kind of under the radar when you talk about national awards. Taylon Green, after a season, he was 40 yards away from the most offense by an Arkansas quarterback in school history, 2nd most ever. He is dropped back at the 35-yard line by Wyatt Wright. A loss of 10.
And just a disguised blitz, right? It looks as though Wyatt Wright's not coming, and it looks like that's Mike Washington's guy, that he has to pick him up. Again, this was a team that gave up immense pressure a season ago. You can't have mishaps like that, especially on 3rd down, if you want to be one of the top teams in the SEC.
Here is Scott Starzik, a freshman out of the Woodlands High School in Texas, ranked as a top 10 kicker. They say he has been phenomenal all preseason camp. Nothing to it from 53 yards out. You can see why they've been raving about that young man. 10-7 our score. Back to Fayetteville after this. And after that first possession, he's probably scratching his head a little bit, trying to figure things out. Alabama A&M will get the football again. And this is a new defense for sure. A lot of new faces. For more, let's go down to Morgan.
Coach Adams, defensive line coach for Arkansas, ripping into his line as they came off the field after that first series. Missed assignments early on that drive that could have led to a stop. And Coach Pittman, guys, telling us yesterday the biggest question mark that he had, really wanting to see the defensive line group come together, see how they could gel, as this is a group that is lacking depth, according to the coaching staff.
Yeah, Cam Ball, the one with the most experience. He's been around for a long time, the 5th-year senior, wearing number 5, anchor in the front of that line. And wearing the captain patch as well. He'll need to get that group focused and locked in. First down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Little tap pass. That one goes to Jarvis Davis around the corner, and he picks up 8 out to the 33-yard line.
And again, we'll probably see more of this misdirection opportunity that Alabama A&M wants to run. We saw it work so well on that first drive. Start the drive off with it, pick up 7, 8 yards, puts them in second and manageable.
Alabama A&M looking like maybe Arkansas might have done something to force some movement. They're trying to clean up those little games from the defensive perspective to draw the offense off sides, one of their initiatives this year. But this looks like it's going to go against Alabama A&M.
Snap infraction, 63 offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And we'll take a look at the replay here. You get some movement by Ali up top, but whenever you move that ball ever so slightly, that's always going to get called. The referee's right on top of it, and you wonder why. If the defense moved in the neutral zone, where typically it's only the player across from the guy that moved in the neutral zone. Elias Cloy was not across from Ali in that look.
Handoff goes to Maurice Edwards, the 4th, and he powers his way out to the 38-yard line, picks up the 5 they just lost. Stephen Dix Jr., who was 3rd on this team last year in tackles, was 72. Edwards will have to leave the game after losing his helmet. But that's it. The middle linebackers are your story, right? I mean, these are the 2 guys that make it go.
Absolutely. They fly around the field everywhere, and they're going to have to come up big now if they want to stop on 3rd down.
Little dump off pass caught. There is Abner, first down, and a whole lot of room. There is a flag down, a couple of flags. There's one back at the 35. Another one drops around the 40 on the other side of the field.
Yeah, we're going to have offsides by Ali again. The misdirection seems to be working well. Busted coverage on the back end. We'll see what the referees continue to convene about from a penalty standpoint.
The ball's all the way down to 27.
Offside. Defense lined up in the neutral zone at the snap. Blocking the back. Offense number 2. Penalties offset. Second down.
Well, that's a disappointing.
Third down.
Disappointing break for Alabama A&M. They had a huge game negated by the block in the back.
Yeah, we see the jump there, lining up in the neutral zone. And then you just can't have that happen by Frank Pierre. You're downfield, didn't even need it. That negates a huge explosive play by the Bulldogs offense. And now you're back 3rd down in enemy territory.
3rd down and 2. It's their first 3rd down of the afternoon. Ryan Morrow, your running back to the left of Cornelius Brown, the 4th. And movement again against Alabama A&M.
False start. 71 offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's the freshman, the true freshman, Tyquez Richardson, the freshman out of Atlanta, Mays High School.
You always wonder why defenses move pre-snap so often, and when they do, that's the exact result. Whenever you have an offense that's not prepared and looking at the football, you get an opportunity to push them back 5 yards.
3rd down and 7. They'll swing it near side, pass is dropped, it's incomplete, it'll be 4th down. So here comes the Bulldog punting unit. Boy, mistakes just destroyed that drive for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you do the things that they did, cause issues against your own self. The block in the back penalty by Pierre was unnecessary and unwarranted. They're deep in Arkansas defense territory without that penalty. And now you see what that cost you, setting up for a punt.
Now a chance for Cam Shanks, who just transferred in from UAB, was an All-American in the return game. Few better than him in this position. Stands at the 30-yard line. He will make a catch and get walloped at the 26-yard line. Caden Dixon on special teams with a fantastic play after a 45-yard punt.
Yeah, if you're special teams coordinator for Arkansas, you're holding your breath as Cam Shanks does not call a fair catch. Caden Dixon does exactly what you're supposed to do as a gunner. Wait for him to catch the ball, don't get a kick-catch interference, and then secure the tackle. Well done. Great coverage by the Bulldogs.
Boy, textbook by Dixon. Arkansas first down and 10 from the 25. Touchdown on their opening drive. A field goal on drive number 2. What will happen here on drive 3 as Braylon Russell checks in at running back? This pass caught by Jaden Platt. The redshirt sophomore tight end picks up the first down and 15 yards.
They spoke very highly of Jaden Platt. You get him in one-on-one opportunity, they feel like he'll be able to win in any moment.
Boy, Bobby Petrino just was the upside for Jaden Platt. He just went on and on. This young man continues to work hard and grow. He's going to be one of the best they've had here. Boy, some movement up front by the Hogs. A revamped offensive line.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. First down.
We know about Imarian Harris. He's out at tackle. Fernando Carmona is a guard. Those two were playing last year, but the new names of Corey Robinson the second, Caden Kittler at center, Kobe Branham, the right guard. Sam Pittman says he likes this group though. Incomplete. Looking for Sharp. Boy, things have just gotten a little stagnant here.
Yeah, you get a little anxious. Whenever you have a penalty, that always messes up your rhythm. You go back 5 yards, and we see Taylor Green affected by that. If you want to be a great offense, though, you got to continue to show up and overcome some of the mishaps that you have on your own.
Second down and 15. Bulldogs bring it 4. Green drops it off underneath. Pass is caught there by C.J. Brown. Preston Clendenin back there in coverage. That'll bring up 3rd and long. 3rd and 11 now.
Last time we saw the Bulldogs throw in a little greenhouse blitz that hit home on 3rd down. We'll see if they try to do the same or play for coverage.
Alabama A&M, boy, their coaching staff, all of them running.
Before the snap, timeout. Alabama A&M, their second of the half. 30-second timeout.
All of them trying to get the attention of our line judge over there to get that timeout. One of the positions that was certainly revamped when you lose a couple of outstanding receivers in Armstrong and Tesla, both guys playing in the NFL now, but these are the new ones, 7 of them. And these guys, Cisse is out for the year, broken wrist, but the other 6 are all guys they think are going to play at some point, be factors.
Absolutely, and you look at Omega Blake already showing his big play ability. 20 yards a catch last year, 24 yards a catch last year. That's how explosive and dynamic it is. We'll see if Taylor Green looks his way on this 3rd down.
Here's Green. Boy, he is flushed out of the pocket. Spins to the wide side. Got some room to run, and he'll have a big collision. Lost the football. They're going to say he's down at the 48, which is shy of the line to gain. But, man, was that a big collision.
That was a humongous hit. I think where the ball ends up, though, he's a little bit further than they're giving him credit for. As he's in the air, that ball crosses.
I'm with you.
Early on the
First
field,
down.
the ball carrier was down through the first quarter.
Yeah, I think the ground calls that fumble, but he reached out over the line to gain. They might take a look at this spot. Well, that's going to be interesting to see where that hip. The last play of the first quarter, Taylon Green trying to pick up a first down on 3rd and 11, and he and Clendenin met at the 48, but the 6'6" frame of Taylon Green stretches out over the 40-yard line, which is enough. After review during that timeout, they determined that the spot is at the 50, or at the 40, which is enough, or the 50, I should say, which is enough for the first down.
Yeah, and that's your quarterback putting it on the line for his team. They needed that play in a big way. And for him to take the hit that he did, still reach the ball, get the first down, that might be the spark that they needed to see to start off this second quarter.
How about the hit, though, from the 5'11", 180 Clendenin, though? Just not enough to match 6'6", 235 of Taylon Green. Here's Russell. Helmet comes off from one of those Bulldogs. Well, during that break in the action between quarters, Morgan Huber had a chance to catch up with Coach Shea.
What have you liked from your defense here so far?
Well, I've liked everything out of our team so far. You know, just the way we come out with a lot of energy, starting fast. Now we just got to find a way to focus through the adversity that happens and finish.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, they have overcome some penalties. Offenses look pretty tasty at times. They're trying to come up with a defensive stop here. Omega Blake with another catch. That's his 3rd of the game. Wyatt Wright, the linebacker, bringing him down, but a 9-yard pickup. Green now 8 out of 10. Throwing the football. Over the middle, boy, he had Omega Blake open right down the middle and just couldn't hit him.
Yeah, Alabama and A&M sells out on defense. They go zero coverage. They bring in a nickel corner. Taylon Green tries to put a little too much air for Omega Blake. If he catches that in stride, that's probably 6 for the Hogs.
Braylon Russell getting this set of downs for the Hogs at running back. They will give it to him left side, and he's inside the 35. Hit by Hudson Davis on the back end. It'll be 3rd down and 5 coming up now for Arkansas. Oh, Taylon Green last year was such a machine offensively, throwing and running, and it just the last half of the season never. I think Sam Pittman said he never got more than 70% healthy throughout the season. He did get healthy for that bowl game and lit Texas Tech up for sure. Wide open pass caught, touchdown Raylan Sharp, 35 yards.
Get the Ronaldo celebration in the end zone as well. That typically happens if you don't cover one of the most dangerous receivers in the slot position. You're going to end up with the touchdown on your head like Taylon Green and Raylan Sharp just were able to connect on. There had to have been a defensive miscue. They've played very well these past couple of drives, but you see one miscommunication could cause a touchdown.
Point after up and good, and 17 on Fayetteville, Arkansas. Gorgeous weekend. I mean, just perfect weather. Beautiful place. Beautiful part of the country for sure. Caden Dixon will let this one go through the end zone. Let's go back to that last touchdown. What happened there?
Yeah, well, keep your eyes here on the safety, right? The call is for a slot corner blitz. They have 2 slot blitzers. Which one does he go to? He actually selects the wrong side. The blitzing corner comes from up top. He's supposed to cover Raylan Sharp. You have that miscommunication. It can be deadly, and it ultimately hurt them in the end. Touchdown for the Razorbacks.
See if this Alabama A&M offense can look like they did on that opening drive when they marched at 75 yards for a touchdown on their first possession of 2025. They'll hand it off. Left side goes Maurice Edwards, the fourth. And a helmet comes off. Well, it's the third helmet that's come off. And the second time it's been Maurice Edwards. I'd tighten that chin strap up a little bit.
Yeah, you got to come out for a play, and I'm sure that's not something that he wants to do. This A&M offense has been able to move the ball very well by controlling the line of scrimmage. We heard Morgan talk about Coach Adams getting after that defensive line, but they're going to have to step up big time, being able to shut down the run game for A&M's offense.
Ryan Morrow in at running back. They'll fake it to him. Brown dumps it off. Nice catch there by Abner. Good work offensively. Cornelius Brown, the fourth, took a shot. Nice touch on that pass.
Yeah, that was a beautiful touch there, being able to evade the defense, get out on a move, and then throwing across his body, rolling out to the left, throwing with the right, finding what seems to be one of his favorite targets in Abner. He's showing uncanny ability in his 7th year to be that leader for this team.
Brown has played football at UT Martin, at Georgia State. And running it back with Alabama A&M. Pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Brown is a great story, though. I mean, not only is he in his 7th year, but this young man also is a 2-sport athlete. You don't see many of these, but he's on the Alabama A&M golf team. This is what it looks like. I mean, just pipes it. Not only that, his short game is pretty nifty as well.
Whee. I tell you right now, Dave.
Watch where this goes. Yeah, that went in.
I know you can golf. My ball would have been in the woods somewhere in the Ozarks.
Yeah, not many 2-sport golf football players out there. Boy, swing pass. Ryan Morrow wide open on that far sideline. Bradley Shaw pushes him out of bounds, but another first down at the 36-yard line of the Hogs, a gain of 18.
This is now the 3rd time we've seen a miscommunication. When that Arkansas defense wants to run man-to-man, there's a free out running. The last 2 was Abner, the tight end. This time you see it from the running back. That has to get fixed on the sideline before it happens again if they want to have success.
Boy, some movement on the right side again. Is that their 5th penalty of the day? It is, and 4 of them have been
False start.
false starts.
75 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The illegal procedures, something that you control pre-snap. We talked about it earlier. That's what coaches want to see in week number 1, the first time you get a chance to play on the road too with a pretty loud crowd. How do you handle the environment? And so far, the Bulldogs have not handled it well with a number of pre-snap penalties in the first half.
Brown chased down, picks up about 3. Xavier Sorey, the 5th-year senior, making the tackle. There he is. Young man led the team in tackles last year with 99, had a season-high 13 twice last year against Oklahoma State and Ole Miss. He is really good.
You want to talk about a guy that covers a lot of grass on the defense? Well, there he is, 9.5 TFLs tied for the lead with NFL draft pick Landon Jackson as well. That shows you the significance and the impact he has on this defense.
Handoff goes to Ryan Morrow, and Philip Lee, a 5th-year senior, transfer in from Troy, making a play. Loss of 3.
And that's where you want to see Philip Lee right here on the right side of your screen. He wins the one-on-one block at the point of attack. And if you want to stop the run, you got to be able to get pressure and really cause a pileup, and that's what Philip Lee does there. Typically a pass rusher, but showcases his speed and athleticism to get a TFL and force 3rd and long.
5th-year senior working against a true freshman, Richardson. He won that one easily. Underneath, passes caught there. That is Andre Craig making the reception, but he is hit immediately on the back end by Larry Worth III, a former walk-on who might be on some All-American list by the end of this year. Young man is 6'4", 228. return this punt. Stands inside the 10. Robert Cole hit a 45-yard punt his first time out. Try to aim this one toward the sideline. And it'll hit inside the 5 and bounce into the end zone. So Arkansas defense steps up. They'll have the football when we come back. 16 people around college football felt that 92 defense might have been one of the best in the history of college football, as they went 13-0, beat Miami for the national championship. 8 years in the NFL, and his life's journey led him to be a football coach. When he wrapped up his NFL career after 8 seasons, he said he went and got his insurance license, was getting ready to work in the real world, and got a job as kind of like an assistant coach in high school, and one thing led to another, and now here he is leading the Alabama A&M. Wasn't part of his plan, but here he is.
Ironically, he volunteered his first job coaching high school, and that got him the itch, and he hasn't been able to quite scratch it all the way, as he's still coaching now, considering he didn't want to do it to begin with.
High throw, and Washington can't hold on to it. You know, it's interesting along that Sam Shade line about, it seems like there's more and more guys that played at the highest level, the NFL level, that are coming back into college football. Obviously, Deion Sanders certainly one of them, but Terrell Buckley, who played forever, Florida State All-American, NFL defensive back for 10 years. He's coaching Mississippi Valley State. Some of these guys are coming back. Michael Vick at Norfolk State. There's just more and more of it. It's great to see these guys coming back, because you know these young men just love to listen to these guys talk.
Absolutely, it's in their veins.
C.J. Brown with the catch out over the 35.
And to your point about being in your veins, well, Taylor Green finds back his rhythm again, finds one of his favorite targets in C.J. Brown. One-on-one matchup favors the Razorbacks. They take advantage of that yet again for a big first down.
Hand off to Washington, and he's out over the 40 to the 43. We have 8:13 to go here in Fayetteville in the first half. The first half just concluded in Tallahassee, and a surprising score. Florida State up 17-7 over Alabama at the break. You knew I was going to get that in, didn't you?
I did.
To say that I was worried about my alma mater today would have been an understatement, but what do I know? Raylan Sharp with the catch. Speaking of alma maters, they're going to go back to the drawing board maybe offensively. Now, it's hard to say, like, seriously, like, how good is Ohio State's defense? Now, Texas offense should have been better. I mean, expectations, all that stuff. But you got to wonder, I mean, when the coaches look at that film, was it as much Ohio State? Was it more Texas? You know, like what you digest from that from a coaching staff?
It's a combination of both. And week one, you want to handle everything that's thrown at you. So you got to be able to handle that well. And then the maturity level shows up from week 1 to week 2.
Well, they will be grinding it in Austin this week. A few things I would bet on, but I would bet on that there will be a grind happening.
You will not be wrong.
Second down coming up here for Arkansas. Second down and 5. Hogs up by 10. A lot of movement in that formation. The end result, a handoff to Washington, hit by Jalen Wright. Not much there. Now it's third down.
It seems like the emphasis was to run the ball on this drive a little bit more. We saw Mike Washington with a couple of carries. And just the end product, not what they want. Third down, you get in that mid situation. Taylor Green has an opportunity to showcase his athleticism and find his one-on-one matchup.
Braylon Russell in the game at running back. He will stay in to protect for Taylor Green, who's trying to find a little bit of room to run. He cannot. Wyatt Wright got his arms wrapped around him and would not let go.
Yeah, there was green grass in front of Taylor Green, man-to-man coverage, but guess what? Wyatt Wright is there to spy. For this reason, they know how much Taylor Green means to this offense. If he gets an open space, then it could be trouble. But Wyatt Wright, one of the guys that Coach Shade was very, very high on, very active on their defense, showcases his athleticism yet again.
Yeah, he said he's excited to see him play. Came to Alabama A&M over the summer, so hadn't been in Huntsville for very long. That punt bounces at the 10 and out of bounds. That is where the Bulldogs will have it. Down 10, 5.5 to go, first half. You must do it now. If you're a sports fan, nothing better in the world than that. Everything you want in one place. So far, look at these numbers. 214 yards of offense, 17 points on the board, 140 for Alabama A&M. They are sitting on 7 as we have 5.5 to go here in the first half. Julian Neal leads the way for Arkansas with 4 tackles. The transfer corner from Fresno State. Stephen Dix Jr. Xavier Sword manning the middle of that defense. 4-man front. Brown throws, pass is caught to Davion Walker. And it has been a really good first half for Cornelius Brown, the fourth. He has not been intimidated at all. As we said, it's his 3rd consecutive start against an SEC team. He's been in these environments. And obviously he's been around, 7th-year player.
Yeah, he's not afraid of this moment. The opportunity, as we see Walker going off, it seems though he landed awkwardly and coming off of the injury. Quad Brown shown great poise.
Let's go down to Morgan.
Well, Brown split time last season. He told me now being the guy, that pressure is a privilege, and he doesn't take it lightly. In that 3rd straight game of playing an SEC team, he told me he learned what to expect. It's going to be a physical brand of football when you play an SEC team, and you can't let the external factors control our non-negotiables. And while the crowd noise has affected them a little bit today, they've done a pretty good job so far, guys.
Brown 9 of 13 for $130, 69% completion percentage here in the first half. Maurice Edwards, the 4th at running back. Little sidearm toss. He was trying to hit Frank Pierre. Had to get rid of that one in a hurry. Ends up on his backside.
Yeah, Coach Williams got tired of him being able to pick apart the defense in solid man-to-man coverage. And then there's our guy, Sorey Jr., coming free. They brought more than they could pick up. And that changes with the physicality aspect. That changes the way that you got to stand into the pocket. And now your mind may have to think about, do you want to get hit or do you stand firm as you try to convert on 3rd down on this play?
3rd down and 10. Pressure again over the middle. This one almost picked off. Boy, right into the hands of Jaheim Singletary, the redshirt junior, former Georgia Bulldog, had it right in his gloves.
That's a play he wishes he could have back. It looked like Quad Brown didn't even see him. Again, under pressure by Phillip Lee. He's trying to throw it to one of his favorite targets in Abner, the tight end. Singletary comes off of his receiver. And there's the hit again. Just that physicality that we talked about on back-to-back plays affecting the accuracy of the throw. Opportunity missed by Singletary, though.
Robert Cole punts this one away. It's a good kick. Cam Shanks has a chance to return it, though. Here's Cam Shanks. He's met at the 34 and dropped right there. So with 4.5 to go in the first half, Arkansas will try to build on this 10-point advantage. Well, the SEC Now crew will be in Atlanta tomorrow afternoon at 2 Eastern. That's 1 Central Time. For the 60-minute football pregame show before number 13 South Carolina takes on Virginia Tech on ESPN. Then at 8 Central, or 8 Eastern, 7 Central, the SEC Now Charlotte squad will have a full post-game show and wrap up the weekend. It's coverage you can only get on the SEC Network. And, of course, you can always catch it on the ESPN app. Dave Neal, Fozzie Whitaker, Morgan Uber, glad you could join us as we open up things here in Fayetteville. Next week should be a fun one for us. South Florida and Florida down in the Swamp. Joshua Bledsoe making a nice play on Taylon Green, trips him up, got a yard out of it, so 2nd down and 9. South Florida looked really good knocking off Boise State on Thursday night, and that sets up a really big game down in Gainesville.
When Byron Brown is healthy, that team is different because he is different.
Taylon Green hit as he throws, soft throw. trying to hit C.J. Brown over there, but Clendenin able to respond and make a play and knock it out of there.
Well, we talked about it whenever Quad Brown got hit, how that may change some things. Well, here we are again. This time Biombi is the guy applying pressure to Taylon Green, and Taylon Green's lucky, throwing late across the field. It didn't end up in an interception. Big PBU for Clendenin in this A&M defense.
Empty set now for Arkansas on 3rd down and 9. Bringing 5. Green has all day to run. First down, midfield to the 40, and wallop there out of bounds by Joshua Bledsoe. But a nice gain for the Hogs. That'll get him across midfield and inside the 40-yard line, a gain of 26.
Yeah, again, you bring pressure by the Bulldogs, but nobody is spying on Taylon Green. You give Taylon Green that much running room, he will absolutely make you pay. The only thing I would say, and probably Coach Petrino as well, hey, step out of bounds. Yeah. Don't take that unnecessary shot right at the end. You picked up the first. Well done, Taylon Green.
Bulldogs bring it 4. Arkansas picks it up over the middle, wide open. Receiver Monte Harrison, the 30-year-old former big leaguer in his 2nd season with the Hogs, making the catch, gets him inside the red zone, inside the 10 after a 29-yard gain.
Yeah, he's a fantastic story, but here he is. He just finds that soft opening. Cover 2 look by that defense. They forget where he is, and he makes them pay in a big way. Monte Harrison, huge first down for the Razorbacks, finding some momentum.
2 catches a year ago, his first catch of 2025. Russell in it, running back in that pistol formation. They will give it to big number 0. Turns the left side. He's inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. Nick Glenn holding his ground, making the tackle for Alabama A&M as the clock winds to 2.5 minutes. We'll get that 2-minute timeout. Arkansas going to go somewhat quickly to the line of scrimmage. They'll throw it over the middle, touchdown. Jalen Brown, his first touchdown grab as an Arkansas Razorback.
What a phenomenal play call there by Bobby Petrino. Just saw Braylon Russell, big guy, get the rock, get physical in there, RPO. Jalen Brown just sneaks behind the defense. Nobody has eyes on him. Taylon Green sees the linebackers and DB suck up. Jalen Brown for the score for the Razorbacks.
Scott Starzik, point after is up and good. 24-7 now our new score here in Fayetteville. Big play there. Monte Harrison, the sophomore at Elise Summit, Missouri, who is just a remarkable story. Coaches love him. Players love him. This guy spent 10 years, was drafted out of high school, played a couple of seasons in the bigs with the Angels and Marlins, former 4-star commit coming out of high school. He was going to Nebraska on a football scholarship, was also going to play baseball. Here he is making one heck of a grab. How about that? You wonder why he's a receiver? Huh?
Did he have to climb the wall, though?
Oh,
that's an outstanding catch right there.
Bobby Petrino telling us yesterday that in the wide receiver room, everybody looks up to him. He kind of runs the show. And he says, when you start putting up guys' measurables physically on the board, like this guy, Bobby Petrino even said, he goes, I think we might have missed something by not playing him more last year. And said he was going to get more involved this year.
Absolutely, and we see that already. I think the funnest part of that story was how he's been in the big leagues. He calls Coach Pittman Sam.
Yeah.
And Coach Petrino Bobby.
This is going to return a couple of yards deep. Caden Dixon breaks 1 tackle and gets it out to the 20-yard line. For more on Monte, let's go down to Morgan.
Coach Pittman telling us yesterday he's changed everyone in the wide receiver room. We needed someone with maturity like him. And guys, that has been displayed on this sideline as he has been the most vocal, no doubt, of the wideouts, laying into them even after touchdown drives like that last one. Just a really mature presence, a 30-year-old sophomore. Pretty crazy to say.
I would say that he's got all the money on the team, but in today's world, he might be down the list.
That's a good point.
Here goes Brown throwing it out of bounds. And that'll get us to that 2-minute timeout. We'll head back to Fayetteville. First half. Hey, listen. Benjamin can wear whatever he wants to wear, and I'll say it looks good on him. How about that? Good to see you boys. We kick off another football season. Glad we all back. Fozzie, a new addition to us here on the SEC Network as well.
I'm happy to be here, man. What a time to be alive.
Got Morgan Uber down the sideline. She'll be with us all year. She's been working over in that other league for a while. Glad to have her on board in the SEC now. 24-7, Hogs out in front. 3rd down and 2 for Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M has shown some signs. They put up 163 yards of offense today. But this play goes nowhere. I think we're starting to see this Arkansas defense kind of settle in, get a little bit more comfortable. The first couple possessions, it just seemed like they weren't real aggressive. Not sure-footed, if you want to use that term.
Absolutely. Well, check out the standout, the all-conference player, Cam Ball here, showing why he's all-conference. Ball get off was immaculate. He splits the guard in the center, gets a TFL, and now you're looking at an opportunity where timeout was called. Arkansas gets the ball back with a minute 15. Can they make another run at either a score of a touchdown or a field goal?
Boy, the relationship Sam Pittman has with Cam Ball is great. We were with them both yesterday, and Cam has a gift of gab for sure. Great personality, young man out of Atlanta, Georgia, and tough this summer. As he even talked about, he lost his dad to cancer, a battle with cancer over the summer, and you see that C on his, the CC is for Cam and Charles, representing his dad in the back of that jersey. Cam Shanks bounces off a couple of Bulldogs, falls forward to the 41-yard line. See what Arkansas does here. 1:05 to go in the first half. You know they'd like a little bit of maybe a shot in the arm offensively. Stick one of these in before halftime.
Yeah, with 2 timeouts, you don't have to push it too fast. You do need to get out of bounds and have a sense of urgency. But just be smart with the football. Pick up positive yardage. We'll probably see Alabama A&M's defense in more of a soft coverage, not to give up anything downfield. Take everything underneath and set up your opportunity to go get a big play to get you in scoring range.
3 touchdown passes to 3 different receivers for Taylon Green. 4-man rush by the Bulldogs. Green has time, underneath throw. Incomplete, tried to hit Jalen Brown, who has one of those 3 touchdown catches. Jalen Brown, the redshirt sophomore. Transfer, played 1 year at LSU, 1 year at Florida State, and now here at Arkansas.
And everything that Coach Petrino and Coach Pittman have said about him is he can absolutely fly.
Pass caught by Omega. Blake breaks a tackle. Omega hit around the 32-yard line and dropped there by Demetrius Biombi. Gain of 27, though.
Yeah, big playability again, playing soft coverage. Finds that pocket right in between the backer and the corner. Makes 3 guys miss before he's finally taken down. But that's the big chunk play you want to see to get in scoring position.
Taylon Green. No, there is a flag. I was waiting. It finally came out. Delbert Mayberry back there in coverage a little early.
Holding. Defense number 19. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, and these defensive backs have a tall task of trying to keep up with these such speedy receivers of Arkansas. One of the best ways to make sure you don't give up a touchdown is to hold. Obviously, it results in a penalty, but better than 6.
6 penalties against Alabama A&M. Here's Green. A little too much heat and behind Cam Shanks. Cam a little banged up, a little slow the last couple of weeks. Maybe this past week got back in the mix a little bit, but hadn't been 100% through their August workouts.
Yeah, and you can see some of the timing mishap. Whenever you miss time, that kind of connection that you create with the quarterback is pivotal, and you miss those opportunities. And we see the window was just out of position by Cam Shanks and Taylor Green on that last play.
Shanks stays in the game. They will swing it to Mike Washington. Washington, a lot of white jerseys covering that football. He might have lost a yard. Jordan Brown, first one there for Alabama A&M. And Arkansas will take this time out with 29 seconds to go here in the first half. Well, our next SEC Network volleyball match is tomorrow beginning at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 Central, when Vandy hosts Illinois at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. That's right, it's at Bridgestone Arena. First year for Vanderbilt. I think it's been 45 years or something like that for Vanderbilt to have a volleyball team. They bust out a new addition this year. Matter of fact, they played their first volleyball match this past weekend in the middle of campus outside. Made a big production out of it. Now, their next one will be in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. Here it's 24-7. Arkansas has put up 305 yards of offense in this first half. 213 from that man right there through the air, Taylor Green. He has 16 out of 23. He's also rushed 7 times for 33 yards. Washington has 45 yards on the ground. Russell has 14. Eight different Arkansas players have had a reception today.
It's impressive.
3rd and 11 to the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas. Omega Blake. There is a flag down in that Arkansas backfield.
Yeah, and I think it's coming back.
Holding. Offense number 55. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's the veteran Fernando Carmona.
Yeah, you're going to see him here right before the snap. He has his guy and loses his balance and ends up taking him all the way to the ground. That's going to get called every single time. Bring those hands inside, and that saves you the opportunity and finish that block in a pancake rather than a holding, which wipes off 6 points for the Arkansas offense.
So now it's 3rd down and 21. 24 seconds to go. 3 receivers near side, 1 split to the wide side. Here's Green, stands in the pockets. Caught over the middle. Omega Blake again. Omega dancing around to the 5-yard line. Robert Iverson bringing him down. Hogs have 1 timeout left. 27-yard pickup. And they will take that timeout right here.
Yeah, and check out the spacing. I'm actually surprised they allow him to just run free. I believe that's a busted coverage by the corner. Bledsoe is probably supposed to stay man-to-man on him. It looks like it's a man-2, but he comes off, and you don't want to give the guy that averages 24 yards a catch space in open field like that. But that's exactly what they do. Omega Blake makes them pay. Taylor Green finds him, and they pick up a huge first down. Now we're looking 14 seconds. You got an opportunity to take a couple shots in the end zone before you have to settle for a field goal if that's what it ends up being.
Well, Omega Blake, as you talked about, huge average last year. 24.8 yards per catch at Charlotte. Played 3 years at South Carolina, then moved to Charlotte before finding his way here to Arkansas. Already with 5 catches for 105 yards today. Has 47 of those yards after the catch. So 1st and goal for Arkansas with 14 seconds to go.
Timeout. Alabama A&M, your 3rd and 5. First half, 30-second timeout.
We will keep it here as Sam Shade burning that timeout. His defensive coordinator, Chris Shelley, also an NFL veteran. 5 years in the NFL, played another 5 years in the CFL. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Razorback Marching Band on SEC Network Plus. You can start streaming that now over on the ESPN app. Tell you what, the band caught a break today. Temperatures in the low 80s. Usually this game's like about 97 degrees.
Oh, yeah. I think we all caught a break, Dave.
Yes, we did. Green looking, flushed out of that pocket. Talon throws to the end zone, touchdown, and he does connect with Omega Blake. Something's brewing between Talon Green and Omega Blake.
Well, we talked about the production that was missing from a year ago with Armstrong leaving. Well, it seems as though Talon Green has found his big play threat, and Omega Blake seems to answer every physical question that you would want to find in a top receiver, and he's doing it in an emphatic fashion in his first time playing for the Razorbacks for this offense.
Hogs looking to put up 31 here in the first half. They do so. And Talon Green, his fourth touchdown passing game of his career.
And what makes it so special is his ability to escape the pocket, buy time, find an opening, get the defender out of position, and then the hands catch by Omega Blake. Turning across his body, that's not an easy catch. He made that look very easy. And that's another touchdown for your Arkansas Razorbacks.
There is Talon's dad, Quentin, in the stands, loving what he's seeing. Talon had a 5-touchdown pass game last year against Mississippi State. He also had 4 when he was quarterback with Boise State. Now has 4 here in the opener. And look at him shaking his head. Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Talon Green, 18 of 25, 246, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And tell you what, and I realize you're looking at an FCS opponent over here. As that one bounces off an Alabama A&M player and falls into the arms of, was that the kicker?
Yes. How about that?
Devin Bale, who was kicking off, it bounced right into his hands.
That's the most unorthodox onside kick I've ever seen. Not meant to be such. The squib kick to try to prevent a return by the Bulldogs. And Bale finds up being in the right spot at the right time. And the ball is dead. He cannot return it since the ball was never possessed by the return team. This is the first for me. Bounces right off the defender's leg. It's a first down for this Razorback offense. They're going to get another chance to put up points on the board if they want to go for it. Right around that 45-yard mark, or 34-yard line. Maybe a Hail Mary throw. But check out the belt. How about that? Usually give it to guys that score a touchdown. We see Bale get an opportunity to hold up that championship belt with that great effort on that squib / unorthodox onside.
What are the chances of that happening? I mean, seriously, that is bizarre.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened more than what we've seen there.
But the bounce right back to the kicker?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Got to be like but less than 1% chance.
Yeah. So Green takes a knee. Arkansas with here at Charlotte, 24.8 yards per catch a year ago, 18.5 yards per catch here in the first half. Looks like there might be a nice little combination working there between Green and Blake. Alabama A&M will get the football first. Devin Bale sends it down to the 3-yard line where Caden Dixon awaits it, and he is hit at the 20 and dropped right there. You know, it is 31-7, but it was strange. We were talking at halftime, like, Alabama A&M played better than the 31-7 score.
Well, the biggest change around that we saw was whenever that blocking in the back occurred by the receiver. Javante Abner was able to get downfield in scoring position. That flipped the script of the momentum that the Bulldogs had created, and ultimately they haven't been able to refine that same type of momentum yet.
Handoff goes to Maurice Edwards, and he is brought down by Larry Worth III. Larry Worth, 2 years at Jacksonville State, now in his 2nd year here at Arkansas. And it looks like that's Edwards, by the way. Down on the ground around the 24-yard line. Well, from the looks of things there, it looks like a cramp.
A lot of times, week 1, you haven't done what you've done on a football field literally until today. And you get the humidity that's going around here in the southern part of the United States. And it could lead to some immense cramps happening, especially after halftime, the second half, after you've poured so much sweat out and have utilized your body to this degree. You got to replenish it well with the electrolytes in the water, so you got to stay hydrated. But if that is the case, you hope that it's only cramps and he comes back fully healthy and continue to hydrate on his way.
We talked a lot about their quarterback, Cornelius Brown IV, the man they call Quad. What do you make of his first half?
Yeah, ultimately, he started off fast, right? You start off with misdirection on the very first play. You get the eyes moving of the defense. And again, man-to-man coverage by Travis Williams. There were some miscues and some mishaps that allowed them to create that momentum. And ultimately, Quad Brown has been able to feast off of that. 130 yards passing so far in the first half.
So Maurice Edwards able to get up, walk off under his own power, but they're trying to pump him full of fluids. See if he gets back in the game today. Brown, big hit. Jarring blow on the back end. That ball is popped free out of there. That was Tijerian Williams, who was trying to hang on to the football, but another big hit by Julian Neal.
Yeah, you see Julian Neal does a great job of staying with the play. Williams almost brings it in, and then Neal jars it loose. Does a great job of keeping his head out of that hit to the head and neck area, so it's not a targeting. Big physical hit, clean hit in football, and that's what you want to see.
Bradley Shaw, the linebacker there, chasing the play as well. Now it's 3rd down and 6. Pressure comes. Alabama A&M picks it up. Incomplete. They were trying to hit Frank Pierre. A little bit underthrown.
We saw Sorey on the blitz there really create an opening to be able to get back there and force Quad Brown to throw that ball just a little bit earlier than he anticipated, which caused it to be slightly off the mark. A catch that Pierre probably could make, but ultimately it falls incomplete.
So Cam Shanks back to return this punt, stands at the 35-yard line. Robert Cole will punt it away. Wobbly kick, takes a favorable Alabama A&M bounce, but Shanks there to pick it up, and he is pushed out of bounds. Well, Morgan Huber had a chance to catch up with Sam Shade coming out of that locker room.
Coach Shade told me this could be a completely different ball game if we hadn't shot ourselves in the foot with so many first half penalties. He also said Taylon Green really makes it tough for us with his athleticism. We have to do a better job keeping the quarterback in the pocket. When they get out on the edges of the defense is when he's most dangerous. And guys, Edwards over here on the sideline for Alabama A&M continuing to get stretched out, showing signs of frustration.
Taylon Green has not been frustrated. 18 of 25, 246. Rodney Hill in the game at running back. Little toss sweep. It's out over the 40 to the 41. That is his first carry of the game. Joshua Bledsoe trips him up, a gain of 7.
We talked a little bit about Taylon Green's performance in the Liberty Bowl and responsible for over 400 yards and the amount of touchdowns. Rodney Hill had himself a showing in that bowl game as well, averaging 10 yards a carry and creating some big explosive plays for that offense.
Green all day to throw. Wide open is Jalen Brown. Jalen to the 30. That that is another big chunk of yardage, 29 yards for Arkansas.
Again, whenever you're able to find pockets like this, I mean, the amount of separation Jalen Brown was able to create was extremely impressive just because nobody was around. He had a time to catch the ball, pat it, wipe it down if he wanted to, and then pick up some big yardage on his way to a first down.
Here's Hill off the right side, and he'll be hit by Robert Iverson, senior out of Riverdale, Georgia, making a good play for the Bulldogs. I'm telling you, I haven't seen a lot of Russell, but still, you know it's there. We saw signs of it a year ago. But with this running back room, Washington, Hill, and Russell being the three main cogs, got some versatility. Guys do different things, different skill sets. Underneath, toss to Omega Blake. Omega cuts it back inside, close to the 15. That'll be a first down. Nice block by Rodney Hill on the blitz.
That's where Alabama A&M had been able to create pressure in the second quarter, was being able to blitz some of those off linebackers. Rodney Hill there sees it, picks it up, allows Taylor Green to have a clean pocket, and then completes it to his #1 target so far, Omega Blake.
Here's Hill. Stretched out nicely by the Bulldogs. Gain of only a couple. Delbert Mayberry, the first one there. Boy, it's one of those situations, Fozzie, if you're Arkansas coaching staff, you've got 50 new players on this roster. Bunch of new receivers, kind of a new offensive line with the exception of 2 guys. You got 3 new bodies in there, really 4 if you count the young man Shaq McCroy, who they're really high on. It's like you might want to get him out early in the season, but at the same time, you want to get some reps.
You got to build chemistry. You still got to evaluate all these players. They have a lot of them.
Pressure comes. Taylor Green throws, and it's caught. C.J. Brown, touchdown, Arkansas.
Goodness, Dave, you want to talk about a special delivery? Well, the composure that Taylor Green shows, getting flushed out of the pocket by none other, again, Wyatt Wright, throwing the ball away from the body, and then C.J. Brown with the tight coverage still ends up with the contested catch, and then the touchdown. Impressive by those 2 young men.
Another point after by Scott Starzik. You know, I got to feed some grapes to Tusk a few years back, and while that was a lot of fun, I realized that is a Razorback in there. So
your hand was okay?
Yeah, I said that'll be enough. That'll be enough. Once was plenty. Our stellar Week 1 football lineup continues tonight at 7:45 Eastern, 6:45 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Don't forget number 21, Ole Miss, and their new quarterback Austin Simmons will take on Georgia State. With a 4-star, 2-sport star. Just an electric pitcher as a freshman that blew out his arm and kind of shut down the baseball part of things. But the guy's got all the tools, the variables, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what better way than to go back and look at the game he played against Georgia to really see what he's about.
Caden Dixon in at running back. They'll swing it his way. Needs a blocker, makes his own block, and picks up the first down. Sometimes you got to bring your own blocker sometimes.
BYOB.
Well, how about Morgan down? She's in there. Be careful, Morgan, down there around that. I mean, look, Tusk is.
Hungry.
I know. This is that was my reaction. It's like, is this?
Got you hooked.
He could go all day.
Don't lose a finger. Hey, don't lose a finger, especially when it's got that wedding engagement ring on there.
Well, it's the other hand, but yeah, I mean, he's like a gentle giant. It's pretty a soft grab there. Sweet guy.
Sweet guy.
We've got a line of people, so I'm going to pass it on. I know he's going to finish this bag here pretty quickly.
Looked like Fozzie last night at dinner.
Leave no scraps, baby.
Second down and a dozen for Alabama A&M. The Bulldogs in their third straight opening game against an SEC opponent. Brown, that one is overthrown. Was that intercepted? They're going to say no. It one hopped into his chest. Caleb Wooden was back there in a safety spot.
Yeah, I believe that hit the ground. Yeah.
Complete pass, third down.
It is very close from that angle. Looks very close. Let's take a better look. Oh, yeah, it definitely hits the ground.
Caleb, I get that you want the interception, but come on.
Hey, you got to make it believable, right? You just never know.
Isaiah Nwokonkwo now in it running back. Third down and a dozen. Brown hit and dropped back at the 27-yard line. Quincy Rhodes Jr.
Yeah, what an incredible get off by both of these defensive ends. Quincy Rhodes Jr., you'll see him right here up at the top. Being able to win, on the inside, being able to win one-on-one against the guard. Philip Lee providing that pressure on the opposite side, and Quad Brown has nowhere to go, but has to be able to protect the football in that moment. That was a huge third down stop to set the tone for the third quarter.
Robert Cole to punt it away to Cam Shanks. We yet to see Cam get free on one of these punt returns. He was the All-American out of UAB in the return game a year ago. Cam, again, bottled up nicely by the Bulldogs out to the 36-yard line. So 9:01 to go here in the third quarter. We'll step aside at Reynolds Razorback Stadium.
Showing the moves, Dave.
They were. We caught them during the break, and it's almost like they had worked on that whole routine.
Oh, yeah.
With all the fans here had to get their rosters out, their two deeps, figure out who's on the field. There's so many new players, 50 of them for Arkansas. 31 transfers came into the program this year. Little toss sweep to Braylon Russell, and he's over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Demetrius Niambi making the tackle, a gain of 7 for Russell.
You can see Carmona, big piece of their offensive line. He goes down on that play. That's something to keep an eye out for. But every time they've run that toss sweep play, they've been able to hit very well. Carmona moving gingerly, but it gets up under his own power, which is really good to see. If you can go down and then be able to move a guy of his size, 325 pounds, SEC selection, all-conference guy, they're going to have to depend and rely on him if they want to have success in the SEC. It starts up front with what he's able to bring back and provide.
Well, he knows how valuable that O-line is going to be for this team this year. The addition of Coy Robinson at tackle has moved Carmona inside this year. He started 13 times at tackle, but looks like he's going to anchor one of those guard spots this season if he can stay healthy. Ooh, bobbled on that toss by Braylon Russell, but he falls on top of that. Well, Shaq McCroy checks into the game. Marion Harris is one of those guys that can play anywhere on that front line, so they'll move him to guard. But Shaq McCroy is the guy, the big boy, 6'8", 344, that transferred in from Oregon. The redshirt freshman didn't play last year. They're still trying to just kind of work him, get him into game shape, get that fire in the belly that you need.
Yeah. Well, you can see him standing from a distance. He's a huge boy.
Here's Taylon Green out to the 45-yard line. There are no flags on that side.
Again, that athleticism that he shows, man, on third down. If it's not there downfield and that defense has not had a good rush and they don't have integrity on their lanes, And Taylon Green shows you why he had over 600 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns a season ago.
Fernando Carmona back in the game now at left guard. Little miscommunication. Cam Shanks throws his arms up, and there's a flag that comes in really late.
Yeah, and it appeared he was in the middle of his route whenever there was a contact by the defense.
Pass interference, defense number 23. Spot foul with an automatic first down.
Jeremiah Hudson Davis. There is Carmona. Good to see him back on the field. Russell with a stiff arm, breaks one tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and hard-earned 5 yards for him. Williams finally brings him down.
Yeah, you want to talk about a quick reaction. Biombi, one of the guys that Coach Shade mentioned plays like a Troy Polamalu. He came like a bat out of you-know-what, trying to get down to Braylon Russell. Then Braylon Russell uses that offhand to stiff arm him away, pick up 5 yards on that first down play.
Nice hole off the left side for Russell, who picks up a first down. Gain of 7.
You get in a game like this, Dave, this is when you start seeing typically the back half of the third quarter and going into the fourth quarter where the depth really matters and how much you can continue to rotate these running backs that we mentioned can be very special for this backfield to create that impact for them in the second half.
Green has time, decides to tuck and run it, gets a couple of yards before he is dropped. Ellis coming in there, the defensive end, making a play. Young man who spent some time at Georgia State.
I can tell you right now, I'm sure Coach Pittman and Coach Petrino aren't too happy seeing the number of hits Taylon Green has taken today. Considering his performance hasn't necessarily been affected by it, but for the longevity of the season, you want him as healthy as possible.
Handoff, Russell cuts it back. He's down to the 31-yard line. John Robinson on that tackle. Overall today, this Arkansas offense closing in on 430 yards of offense. 299 through the air for Green. 21 of 28, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions.
It's a good stat line if the game ended there.
Yeah.
We still have a whole third quarter and the fourth quarter to be able to play.
There's Cam Shanks making a catch over the middle. Gets it inside the 20. Actually, they'll spot him right at the 20, but a gain of 13, and that'll pick up a first down.
There's Coach Petrino right there dialing up those plays. Good contested catch by Cam Shanks to pick up the first down.
Taylon Green to Cam Shanks again. He's down to the 14-yard line. You know, they've added 7 new receivers from the portal. They only returned 3 pass catchers that had combined for 9 catches and 116 yards last year. So to say it's a rebuilt room would be an understatement. But so far, Taylon Green is spreading the love around to all the guys, keeping everybody happy.
Yeah, you would think he's played with these guys for a couple of seasons already with the chemistry they've been able to create. I'm really impressed by that in and of itself.
Russell breaks a tackle, keeps the legs churning down to the 11-yard line. You lose a guy like Armstrong, who had 70-plus catches. He's in the NFL. Then you lose a guy like Isaac Teslaw, who's made the team. He's going to be an NFL receiver.
Yep.
So you had 2 guys on that team last year that are playing for big money. And you lose the tight end, Luke Haas, as well. He transfers out and goes to Ole Miss. Russell. He's down to the 5. That'll be a first down.
Again, that's where we talk about late in the game. Can you close games out? 3 minutes and some change left in the third quarter. You can see this Razorback offense continuing to lean on their size and athleticism as they wear down this Bulldog defense.
Green to the end zone, caught. Touchdown, Arkansas. Andreas Posca.
How about that? The Denmark native, usually in run types of situations or to be able to provide extra protection in the passing game. He gets his number called, play action fake by Taylon Green. Again, the ball handling by Taylon Green hides it away from the defense, and then a perfect shot to the back of the pylon. Another 6 points.
Leaves are changing, flying in. I mean, I'm telling you, it is unbelievable around here. This is one of the gyms in the country. I'm telling you, it is awesome around these parts. And that'll be out to the 25-yard line after the fair catch. Did you guys play Arkansas? I'm trying to remember. You were in Texas.
I did, actually, in 2008. Arkansas came to Austin, and we got to play against them. And it had been a while. I want to say the last time we played them was 2004. Before that,
yeah.
So
How'd it go?
It's good 4 years. Texas prevailed.
Okay.
I will say in that event.
I just wanted to make sure. Bobby Petrino was coaching the Hogs back in 2008. He was head coach 2008 through 2011. Eric Hanley, your new quarterback. Transfer from Wofford. First pass is caught. They'll spot him out near the 34-yard line. And Davis making that catch. Now Wilkenquo stays at running back. Didn't see him in the first half, but getting some reps here in the second half. Hanley, 6'2", 200 redshirt freshman out of Fultondale, Alabama. Handoff goes to Isaiah Nwokonkwọ, brought down by Bradley Shaw. So last night, Auburn on the road beats Baylor. Just thinking about some games in the league that are of value. I think that one has so much value for Auburn.
Yes.
They lose that, you probably lose your fan base. You probably lose some of the guys on that. I mean, I just think that game last night for Auburn was so big in so many ways.
Yeah, they needed that, especially from a confidence perspective. Starting off on the road, handling a hostile environment in Waco, it makes for the beginning of the season starting off on the correct foot and building some momentum off of that first win.
And I don't know, Fives, maybe you can talk to this much better than I can. And the fact, just like you have so many new players in today's world, the buy-in after a win like that has got to mean a lot to the coaching staff. Like, you're selling your players on stuff all fall.
Yep.
I mean, all summer before the season starts. Now they see it works.
Yep. And here's a perfect example, the way Omega Blake has performed today.
Right.
Think of Jackson Arnold's performance, right? First time within an offense, big piece of what they want to do, and then has a gutsy performance, ends up well for the Tigers of Auburn.
Tennessee looked really good today against Syracuse. Aguilar, their quarterback, was really sharp. I think a lot of people were looking at that saying, will there be a big drop in quarterback play?
Right.
But after today, I say no.
With what we've seen, I think Josh Heupel knows how to coach his quarterbacks to perform at an elite level, and he showcased he can do that now several years consecutively. No doubts about what Tennessee is able to do, especially on the offensive side.
Ooh, nice little stutter step by Nwokonkwọ. He is pushed out of bounds after he gets up a first down and gets into Arkansas territory around the 37-yard line. Miguel Mitchell pushes him out of bounds.
Yeah, and here's a great read by Nwokonkwo. You mentioned pressing up against the hole and then forcing the linebackers to go to where he wants them to go, which is ultimately into his offensive line. He creates that little stutter step side shuffle and then explodes for a big explosive run, which is what Alabama A&M's offense has been looking for over the past couple of quarters.
Caden Dixon now checks in at running back. They'll give it to him, trying to stretch it out to the wide side of the field. Big collision as he is popped out of bounds. Caleb Wooden, the senior, transfer in from Auburn. First year here with the Hogs after 3 seasons on the Plains. That'll do it for the third quarter. Arkansas. Well, this team, told you early in this game, last year had 3 games that went down to the wire. And I mean, you win 2 of those 3 games. Got yourself a 9-win season. Everybody's feeling a whole lot better about things. Well, that one's incomplete. Looking for Maddox, laying it out at the goal line. What has Sam Pittman said? Let's go have a great year, get to a really good bowl game.
Expectations, man, that's where it starts now. I guess technically it started in off-season in preparation for the season, but now you get a chance to see what it looks like, the amount of work that you've been able to put in. You see the results of that. Whenever you can start off the season the way that Taylon Green has, and the offense putting up 45 points, that's the right way to start the season.
Oh boy, Hanley just got swallowed up by that front of Arkansas. Ball came out. I hope Hanley's all right. Boy, that looked like a very awkward collision. It'll be Arkansas football. Saili was new Arkansas quarterback, redshirt freshman KJ Jackson, 6'4", 225, was a 4-star recruit. He was top 15 quarterback in his class. And off to the right side goes to Mike Washington Jr. And coach is really high about him. Said Bobby Petrino was breaking it down for us. Says he's very intelligent, great speed, can really spin it. Anxious to see him play a little bit.
Absolutely. And the opportunity right now is pivotal because you always know that you're possibly a play away from your backup having to play. So getting reps right now is, especially with the game being where it is and the amount of time still left, is pivotal in his development.
There goes Washington off the left side. His best run of the game. Pushed out of bounds by Preston Clendenin. But a big gain for Arkansas. We were just talking about, we haven't seen that explosive run yet from Arkansas.
Well, right on cue, I think we talked it into existence, and there it is. They get the edge, and we get to see that speed that Mike Washington displayed at New Mexico State. And he looks so smooth. 228, Dave, moving like that down the field.
Gain of 30. Stoppage in play for an injured Alabama A&M player that's over on that Arkansas bench right around midfield. Sam Shade jogging across the field. Looks like Andre Tibbs, the injured player. And again, looks from the looks of that cramp situation.
Yeah, again, you get late in the game, man. You've been pushing up against somebody for 45 minutes. Being able to try to get your body to hold out and make sure you have enough electrolytes and fluids to continue to finish the game. It's always the most important thing.
KJ Jackson waiting to get some action in. KJ last year did play some football. You know, he could play those 4 games as a freshman and still keep your red shirt. He was 4'4", 59 yards. During his high school career in Montgomery, Alabama, threw for 130 career touchdowns.
Woo. Woo.
Really changed his body. Coach Petrino was talking to us about from the all-season. Lost some of that young weight. He gets walloped as he lets the pass go to Washington, and Washington will score. And KJ Jackson sprints to the end zone to jump on Mike Washington.
How about that? His first passing touchdown in his young career. He gets a shot taken, but it's probably one he can live with. And double whammied right there, gets the ball out to an uncovered Mike Washington. And we all know what happens. You get Mike Washington in open field, you can say goodnight to that. What a great job in execution by those two guys.
Point after is up.
College Game Day has had, and he will be greatly missed, but his presence and his mark that he's left will be felt forever.
Time to take a look at For the Win, brought to you by Sanderson Farms.
Yeah, I got a couple of guys that I think will be impactful in this season for the SEC, starting with Zachariah Branch for Georgia, new transfer. I think he had a really good game already, as they are up pretty big on Marshall. Ahmad Hardy, I got to have a running back in there, the new transfer from Louisiana Monroe. I think he'll make big impact for Eli Drinkwitz. Arch Manning has a lot to show after the showing he had today. And John Mateer, the other quarterback that threw for 3,000 yards and over 600 yards rushing. I think those four guys will leave their mark in the SEC this season.
Incomplete pass. Zachariah Branch, by the way, 95 yards and a touchdown receiving today for the Bulldogs as they're beating up on Marshall 45-7. That is a final score.
He's a dynamic playmaker, Dave.
Hanley throws. Caught made there by Donovan Payne. Flag down.
That'll be offsides, probably declined.
Offside. Defense in the neutral zone at the snap. Penalties decline. First down.
Don't forget, coming up after this one, we've got Georgia State at Ole Miss. Rebels last year 10-3, 5-3 in conference play. Of course, missed out on the college football playoffs. Trying to get back there this year. Pass over the middle by Hanley, looking for Mekhi Maddox, a youngster out of Tallahassee Lincoln High School.
Yeah, Davila played that great from that nickel slot position, being able to stay over the top of the receiver and then being able to jar the ball loose. That's a great PBU, especially in a one-on-one matchup where the inside leverage is already given to the receiver by positioning alone, and he still finds a way to get the ball out.
Drop it off to Payne. Not much there. Nice play on the back end from Shakur Smalls. It'll be 3rd down and 8 coming up for the Bulldogs.
I know his last name is Smalls, but he's not a small individual by any means. Listed 6'209". You look at the back end of all of the DBs that Travis Williams likes to have, and this secondary for Arkansas has some major size. They can get after people.
Hanley throws on the run, and another big collision sandwiched between two Arkansas defenders. Payne takes the shot, gets up. Shakur Smalls in there again.
And there you go, Smalls laying the boom with a little Razorback sandwich there. That's how you get the ball out forcefully and kind of leave your presence a mark whenever you get the opportunity to. Physical brand of football that Travis Williams is looking for, and they're still upholding that through the 4th quarter.
Cam Shanks, fair catch at the 11. That's where Arkansas will have it. They're cruising along here in their 2025 opener 52. He's been over here laughing at me, Dari.
The sweatshirt's already out of the closet,
yeah,
Dari.
I packed that stuff up. I'm gonna pull it out. Pass is caught. Nice throw from KJ.
I know we're kind of making light of that game, but that throw right there, that's a big-time throw. Throwing from the opposite hash, and in college having those wider hash marks and being able to complete the ball accurately shows you why Coach was so excited about the way KJ Jackson can spin it.
Nice hole off the left side. That'll be a first down out over the 30-yard line. That one goes to A.J. Green. By the way, you know, Taylor Green, we've mentioned a little bit that he's kind of like that. People start talking about all these award winners, preseason award winners. He's been kind of that second-tier discussion.
Yep.
Why in the world he's not up in that first tier is beyond me. He's now the 5th quarterback in SEC history with at least 6 passing touchdowns in the season opener.
Yeah, anytime you put somebody in the same vein as Ryan Mallett as well, you're doing something right. And that's what he's been able to showcase in 1 year in Arkansas. Now you put it another one. It'll be awesome. And you look at the stats right now, he's only had 7 incompletions, over 300 yards passing, and 6 passing touchdowns. If this is kind of that second-year jump that Morgan talked about underneath Bobby Petrino in year number 2, then expect big things to continue to come his way, and those awards watch lists will be coming very soon.
That one's batted away. Let's go down to Morgan.
What's impressed me most about Green is the way that he celebrated his teammates more than his own touchdowns today on the sideline with Jackson in. But what he was really celebrating this offseason, it was a big June. He popped the question to his now fiance, Razorback track star Annalise Batista. The two met here at Arkansas, pulling off the ultimate surprise in Dallas. Both families there. He admits he was more nervous for the proposal than a big-time SEC game and said there's no date set yet. He's totally locked in on the season. Doesn't need that additional stress, guys, that we know that comes along with wedding planning.
Something tells me that even during football season, there will be some discussions about their wedding. I'm just saying.
The first thing I thought of is Travis and Taylor who?
Yes, exactly. I know this. As good of an athlete as Taylor is, Taylor is, he's not the best athlete in their family now.
It's funny. We asked him who would win in a 400, and Taylor Green said for sure he would, but you put it up to the 800-meter dash, and Annalise wins that for sure, hands down.
Boy, hanging punt, fair catch taken. Well, this is the day for Taylor Green, and it's been pretty special. Over 300 yards and those 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's been poised in the pocket, hasn't been touched by the offensive line, give him that opportunity. Not only in the pocket, but he does it as well, being able to do it on the run. And then the ball fake opportunity that he has, making sure he hides the ball from the defense and then finds his open man. He's been able to show that consistently throughout the course of today. And if that's any ode to what it'll be for the rest of the season, then look out. Taylor Green, he's a man that's here to stay. He's going to do it in an emphatic way.
A loose football back inside the 10. Eric Hanley falls on it.
That's just a case of the snap not getting up to the quarterback. It just rolls along the ground, and Hanley wisely gets down. Pinned back is inside their own 10-yard line now. You got to wonder what play call the Coach Alexander wants to utilize in this position with his second-string quarterback in there and the rest of the guys. Got to be smart not to turn the ball over here deep in enemy territory.
Wokenquo with the carry. So do you think this this Florida State win, in all seriousness, over Alabama is the biggest upset so far going this weekend? I mean, it's...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, unranked Florida State, 2-10. Everybody's saying throw in the towel. Tommy Castellanos talking about him seeing the best defense that he'll ever face the entire year is his own in practice.
Yeah.
And then going up and showcasing that in the way that they did and defending their home turf, I think that's probably the biggest upset. Absolutely.
Timeout, Alabama A&M on a 3rd down and 20 coming up. Don't forget, SEC football final is back for another season. Dari, Chris, and Benjamin, they'll take you through the biggest stories of the day, break down all the SEC games tonight after Georgia State and Ole Miss. It's right here on the SEC Network and the all-new ESPN app. Of course, got another game tomorrow in Atlanta. South Carolina taking on Virginia Tech. You know, that'll be an emotional one for the Beamer family. But I think also it's a good test for South Carolina. I mean, obviously they burst onto the scene last year, had a great second-half run. Can they continue that momentum? I don't know that South Carolina, other than a couple of times in the history of their program, have been able to sustain success.
Right. And doing it, obviously, in a neutral site will make for a fun type of atmosphere and environment, similar to a bowl game, to be honest. You get that type of prep work. I'm sure both coaches are excited for the opportunity to see their outfit for the first time in the college football season in 2025.
4-man rush here for the Hawks, and dump off underneath. That one goes to the Wokenquo, and he is wrapped up after a gain of 5. So Alabama A&M will punt it away. By the way, Lenora Sellers, I'm anxious to watch him play. I ran into him just ironically like 2 days before they were supposed to be starting their fall camp, and it was on the golf course, and we were playing through them as a group. They were kind of slow up there. I'll just be honest, Lenore's, if you're watching, I mean, pick it up, son. And we played through, and we get up there, and I'm like, oh, it's Lenore's. And first of all, he is a massive
big human being,
man.
Big human being.
So of course I stopped, was apologetic and all that stuff, and we're okay. But speed it up, Lenore's. Let's go. Special guest in honor today, just kind of watching some ball, but that guy right there looks like he could still play. Darren McFadden. I was on a local radio show the other day, and they played some of my calls from when he was, heck, this might have been one I'm calling, when he was playing, and it was always these long runs. It was like 5 calls in a row. McFadden for 57 yards. McFadden for 72 yards. Man, what a treat it was to watch him play.
Yeah, one of the best to ever do it. I mean, back-to-back Doak Walker winner, award winner, one of the best running backs in college football history, and I followed him. That was my time just getting into college.
75 offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Cam Ball wearing that number 5. Looks a little different on Cam than it did on McFadden, but you see the CC again. His dad passed away of cancer over the summer. The C is for Cam, and the other C is for his dad, Charles. But on the front of the jersey is the Darren McFadden patch. That jersey, that number should be retired, but they're letting him wear 5s.
Yeah.
But they're going to put that patch on there, and always remember who was the original 5. There goes KJ Jackson. Been a great ride for Cam Ball here in his 5th year with this program. Great guy to talk to. For more, hey, let's go down to Morgan.
Well, one of the reasons that cornerback Kenai Walker is here on this team, a transfer from Oklahoma, was because of Cam Ball. The two knew each other since they were 6 years old playing youth football together. Ball, believe it or not, guys, was quarterback. Walker, his starting center. Talk about years of trust there, and Ball just giving him the lowdown. You're going to love this coaching staff. They're real and felt their authenticity instantly. And plus also like defensive coordinator Travis Williams, deep ties to the Atlanta area where both of them are from.
He said that they told him, like in 9th grade, he had a coach that say he was quarterback. He tells he could really. Listen, he said he's got video of him doing all kinds of stuff. But he said in 9th grade, his coach came up and said, "Listen, I got a new position we'll try you at." He's like, "What?" He said, "Offensive line." that was the end of his quarterback career, and he said it was devastating. But you saw the size of Cam.
Absolutely. Could you imagine trying to bring it down a quarterback of that size?
Pass behind the intended target, Jaden Platt. But it is a lot of fun talking to guys like Cam Ball, who's just wonderful. Always got a smile on his face. Taylon Green was great. We talked to him, and also learned a lot about Mike Washington. He came and joined us for a while too, the transfer running back. We're asking these guys, like, what other sports do they play? And you don't hear this very often. Mike Washington said he boxed growing up. He was a boxer.
That's an extremely impressive trait. Also played baseball and basketball, so he got all of the B sports covered with boxing, baseball, and basketball.
Boy, good punt. Jordan Chambers-Smith fields it inside the 1, and he is tripped up. Heck of a play in special teams.
Ashton No. And how about this? We spoke with Coach Pittman yesterday about him having an opportunity as a long snapper to possibly play at the next level because he has the size and speed to do such. And Ashton No on display right there, running down free, tackle inside the 10-yard line on a punt in the fourth quarter.
Fifth-year senior. That'll be on his NFL reel.
Absolutely.
Nwokonkwo. And at running back. He's out over the 10 to the 11-yard line. Well, this is the part of the game for both teams, really. But Alabama A&M, not nearly the depth of FBS teams. You know, you probably relied on 40 guys to be your main guys all season long on both sides of the ball. But the way these guys have come out here, not been intimidated, they have played with this level of intensity and passion, and they've looked very coordinated on offense, especially in the first half. They're going to be a handful in the SWAC this year.
Absolutely. The way they answered Arkansas's first touchdown with the touchdown of their own shows you the moxie that they're about and kind of the identity that Sam Shade wants them to carry. I think Arkansas got away with the face mask on that last play, as it kind of looked like his hand grazed the face mask of Nwokonkwo. But it wasn't called. Maybe I missed it. But they've been playing hard and physical, to your point, all game long, where there's the ones or the twos in there. They're kind of showcasing what Sam Shade wants to see.
Saw a shot of Keyshawn Blackstock on the defensive line for Arkansas. The pass is caught by Dixon, and he's bouncing around again, just sticking his nose in there, getting hit by 4 or 5. But interesting story with old number 54 in red, Keyshawn Blackstock. He was in the offensive line like 10 days ago. They needed some depth, never played there. This is a young man who's a fifth-year senior, transferred in from Michigan State, but they're like, hey, man, you want to go over there? He's like, sure, I'll give it a shot. Getting some reps.
That's an awesome story. You got to be coachable to begin with, and Travis Williams said he's been a joy to have back there in the room already, and he was accepted by the defense, which is what you want to see.
The ruling on the field is the ball carrier made the line to gain. The previous play is under further review.
Not going to make many friends reviewing this.
But going back to your point about Blackstock switching over, that's extremely difficult to do, especially when you're in the middle of training camp, preparing for what you've been doing all year long. That makes it tough. And here we go. And on that replay, that's why. Okay, the elbow is down right at the contact. Okay. Tremendous effort.
They're making friends.
There we go.
Here
Got the friends
Arkansas.
back.
Right.
Got the friends back. But tremendous effort by Dixon trying to stay up.
After further review, the ball carrier's elbow was down at the 11-yard line. It'll be fourth down at that spot.
And the other part of that I love, that was quick.
Yes. Yes.
Boom, boom, make a call, let's go.
Let's go with it.
All right, why are we not at the line of scrimmage? Let's go.
Get it going. Is this it'll probably be a punt opportunity.
Yeah.
Get to see another drive. Most likely by K.J. Jackson, give them some more reps. We'll see Cam Shanks been back there, still returning as the returner. We'll see if they give him an opportunity to see if he can take one to the house. As explosive and dynamic as he was, 2 touchdowns, averaging over 20 yards a return, Dave. It was good just to get 10 yards, double-digit average for punt returns, and you do 20 yards, that earns you All-American privileges.
Fair catch called for at the 41-yard line by Shanks. Well, Arkansas will head to Little Rock next week in their first ever meeting with Arkansas State. And then the gauntlet starts. They're at Ole Miss, at Memphis, and then they host Notre Dame, and then they go to Tennessee on October 11th. And it's not over yet. How about you get Texas A&M here, then you're at LSU, and you're at Texas, and finish up with Missouri. Wouldn't wish that on anybody. But hey, Sam Pittman went through the gauntlet last year. He's been around this a long time. Stay the course. Trevor Jackson getting some work at quarterback for Arkansas.
Yeah, you got a new center, new quarterback exchange off to the left, and obviously that's not what you want to see as a quarterback. Whenever you get your first opportunity to get into the game, you don't even get a chance. You take a look at that strength of schedule. We just mentioned it, the number of top 25 teams that this Arkansas program has to face. Florida at the top, and then Oklahoma right there. And Arkansas is right in the mix as the number 3 toughest schedule to face. All of those have the SEC conference in common. Vanderbilt right behind that as well.
Well, our stellar Week 1 football lineup will roll on tonight. Roughly 18 minutes. It'll be Ole Miss, 21st ranked team in the country, hosting Georgia State. Tom Hart, George Rogers, Cole Kubelik on hand for that one to get a look at Austin Simmons and this Ole Miss football squad. The sun is setting here in Fayetteville. And 70,000 on hand at the start, down to about 7,000 here in the final 3 minutes and 7 seconds.
Celebrating a good first weekend of college football in Week 1 for Razorback fans.
I don't know that there is a better you can take the NFL, you can take the NBA, you can take college basketball, you can take name the sport. I don't know that there is a better opening weekend in sports, more exciting weekend in college football. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like the vibe is different than anything else.
I'm with you on that, and it's funny because us as college football fans, we love every piece and bit and moment of it, whether it's Week 0, whether it's Week 1, whether it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or even Monday. We can't get enough of it, and it doesn't matter who's playing, right? We'll watch anybody, and that's what makes this game so great and so special.
Trevor Jackson. Ooh. That one is incomplete. Cam Settles hit by John Robinson.
Well, they're still popping pads down there. It is not for the weak-hearted. You get in, you better be ready to go. Button up that chin strap. Have your mind right.
33 players entered the transfer portal for Arkansas. They brought in 31, 50 new players total. And many of these guys, not many, but a handful of these guys came in the summertime, so they didn't even participate in spring football.
Yeah.
So the learning curve is not normal. But as Bobby Petrino was explaining to us, is that a lot of these guys have been on their second, third team, so they have gone through the quick learning process of jamming all this stuff in. And Bobby Petrino was talking about also learning the guys who can absorb it all. Maybe you slow down, install, and maybe not as much early on. You gradually get there.
Yep. It makes a difference whenever you can transfer in guys that have already matured, gone through a couple of seasons of what an install looks like. Then you can obviously install your playbook a little bit quicker, similar to the NFL style of switching teams.
Dixon turn the corner, and he will do so. Pick up the first down. I'll say, I mean, you've played the game for a long time. You've been in the business, been around it for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. There are few people with an offensive mind like Bobby Petrino. I mean, it is, when you get to talk to him about ball, you always learn something.
Absolutely.
2-minute timeout. Back in a moment. 52 yards of offense, 358 through the air, 194 on the ground as we go under 2 minutes to play. Arkansas in openers against FCS. Well, actually, FCS teams overall, they're 23-1. Their only loss to an FCS team came back in 1992 to the Citadel Bulldogs. But they're 73-16-1 in openers, which is the third best number in the country behind only Ohio State and Notre Dame.
That's good company to be in if you're talking about
And good scheduling. And good scheduling.
That counts also.
Right, yeah.
That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah. Of course, Notre Dame will be here at the end of the month. That'll be a fun night of football.
Yes.
Or that's actually a day game, I believe. I think.
Yes, yes.
I think that's like a noon kick or 11 a.m. kick.
Yep. It'll be early.
So what do you make of Arkansas after watching this?
You know, I think Taylon Green is special. I talked about him having superhero powers and being heroic. He put that on display today. The defense has to play more in tune with what Travis Williams wants in order for them to be highly successful like they were in 2021. But that man right there, he's special. If he continues what he's doing year 2 under Bobby Petrino, then look out. This Razorback offense could be unstoppable and be back in the top 10 like we saw them a year ago from a yards per game perspective.
Well, he had 6 touchdown passes today. He's tied for second